Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Creators Outlet. Right now, we're joined by Ringo-award winner Rylend Grant.
Howdy, howdy.
Welcome. Before we dive into everything, I just want to give a big shout out to our sponsor for this video, SpinWiz Comics at spinwizcomics.com. It is a webcomic and indie comic discovery platform with over 86 indie publishers and well over 400 titles that you can read for free. All you got to do is download the app on Android or iOS. Check it out for yourself. And here's just a sneak peek of what it could look like on your smart device. That's what it's all about. Creator-owned comics.
Looks like a religious experience.
A little bit, yeah.
It's pretty good.
I've got it on my phone, but my eyes are so bad now. I'm like, oh, I need my phone to be like this big so I can actually read the tiny print.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty cool app, and there's a bunch of different publishers on there. Source Point Press is on there, and Marcovia, Wave Blue World, a whole bunch of stuff. So it's got some
a lot about it.
It's got some pretty cool stuff. Speaking of cool stuff, you're back with another Kickstarter right off the heels of wildly successful The Jump.
Back in the saddle.
Back in the saddle. You never left.
Never left. Yeah, well, I think the people that really take to Kickstarter do these quarterly. You kind of can't start the next one until you fulfill one, and it takes you about 3 months to get the book printed and packed up and sent off and everything. So here we are. Probably I don't know if it's 4 months later now, but yeah, back on the saddle. The first go around with The Jump was just such a great experience. I've never had rabid fan interaction like that before. I have to a certain degree. You go to a con and you get a little bit of it here or there. You get a little bit of it on Twitter and whatnot. But man, the fans on Kickstarter are awesome and interactive and engaging. And so yeah, I could not come back. And also it helps that the comic industry, traditional publishing is still kind of a mess, and there's still a big pile up. And I'm making books all the time, so they're starting to pile up over here too, and so I want to get them into people's hands, and so perfect fit. So yeah, I'm coming to you this time with a book called The Peacekeepers. It is a 64-page monster. It's a double issue, a love letter to dark and quirky crime dramas like Fargo and No Country for Old Men. And so if you love those movies, if you dig case of season police dramas like True Detective or The Wire, if you love Elmore Leonard novels, if you dig comic masterpieces like Criminal or 100 Bullets, you're going to love this thing. Brought to you by the same team that brought you Aberrant, 10 issues of Aberrant, Ringo-award winning Aberrant. So yeah, it's awesome, man.
Are you starting to run out of place to put your Ringo awards?
Well, I only have one award, and actually, if you look up there, it's that
way up there, yeah,
handsome square thing up there next to a couple other weird odds and ends award wise. We won one for best villain last year. We were nominated for two others, best single issue, and I was nominated for best writer alongside Jeff Lemire, Scott Snyder, Brian Michael Bendis, and Brian K. Vaughan. So it was me and 4 first ballot Hall of Famers. That was weird. This year, my last book, Banjax, dark superhero noir that is available in fine comic shops everywhere and on Comixology and Amazon, if I can do the plug. Banjax is nominated for 4 this year. Best series, next to Bitter Root, and a couple other kind of big heavy books. We were kind of the indie darling that sort of snuck our way in there, kicked our way in there. And then I was happy and delighted to get my whole kind of art team nominated this year. Fabio Alves, the artist on The Jump, was nominated for Best Cover Artist. Edson Ferreira, also the colorist on The Jump, was nominated for Best Colorist. And then HDE, the guy that letters all my books, is nominated for Best Letterer this year. So yeah, I think that's a total of 7 over 2 years. So that's some pretty hefty arithmetic there.
Yeah, you're doing okay, I think.
Not too bad, right?
You know? And big shout out to our brother from another mother over at Pop Cult HQ, who did that awesome variant cover for Banjax #1 with you to the homage of Bob Layton's Demon in a Bottle from Iron Man 129.
Yeah, I can grab it right now. Give me 1 second. I know this is not good broadcast etiquette, me stepping off a frame, but it's really beautiful. So this was done by Fabio Alves and Edson Ferreira and lettered by HDE. Yeah, it is the Pop Cult exclusive homage to Iron Man Demon in a Bottle. If you've read Banjax, you know it's an addiction play. And Demon in a Bottle was maybe, you know, the biggest influence on me comic-wise. And so we did up an homage to that, obviously known for my variant covers. So you can get this right now a number of ways. You can go to, I think it's Shop Cult HQ, or the Pop Cult HQ has a shop where this is available. It's an exclusive through them, the Ringo-Awards nominee exclusive variant. But also, I will have some of these on the Peacekeepers Kickstarter campaign available as add-ons. We were chosen by Kickstarter to kind of test their add-on beta. You know, normally until now, you've kind of had to, go through a third party to do add-ons and whatnot, backer kit. And we'll still do the backer kit thing, but we are testing this beta, and so you will, for a period of time, via the Peacekeepers campaign, be able to get this. The other big thing that was announced yesterday on this live stream I did with Pop Cult HQ, you can still catch that if you're on Facebook. You go over to their Facebook page, and you can still see the stream that we did. We did. It was insane. We had 9 people on a Zoom call at one time, and it was all different creators who were on kind of promoting things and singing the praises of the Peacekeepers. We had David Avalone, who did Drawing Blood with Kevin Eastman and writes Elvira. We had David Pepos, who I'm sure your viewers know very well. Had David Boer, who does Canto. Don DeWin, Christy Shin, Steve Prince. It was just kind of a bunch of my best friends in comics, and we were just kind of having a little comic party. It was great. But we announced there that we did another exclusive variant for Pop Cult HQ. It was I don't have it with me because it's not printed yet. But we did a Weekend at Bernie's variant of Aberrant #1 that is just fucking bonkers. And so that will be available on the Pop Cult HQ website. It's limited to a run of 150, so uber scarce. And we will also be that is available now via the Peacekeepers Kickstarter campaign. So you go in, you pick your tier on Kickstarter, and then you go to kind of an add-on section, and you can just kind of click a box and add that. I think if you do it via the Kickstarter, I think you save like 33% or something like that. So I think they're like $10. So that's kind of bonkers. It's definitely something to check out there. The Demon in a Bottle variant that might be 15 or something like that. But yeah, I mean, and then that's the thing, is we're testing this add-on thing, and so we will, over the course of the campaign, kind of drop in these uber exclusive variants. I have there are a lot of con variants that you could only get if you were at San Diego Comic-Con in like 2018 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I have a kind of war chest of a few of these, and some of these are variants that, it's like the Banjax Rocky IV variant that we did for Baltimore Comic-Con last year. I think only 50 of them exist. Wow. And maybe even be less than that, because some of them were destroyed when I was flying back from Baltimore Comic-Con, because American Airlines destroyed my bag. But so a lot of uber limited stuff. So if you are a collector and you are a variant fiend, there's going to be a lot to see in this campaign. So check it out. You can go to Kickstarter and search the Peacekeepers. You can search my name, Rylend Grant, or you go to bit.ly/the Peacekeepers. It will take you right there.
Or you can click on the link right here in the chat.
Rock and roll.
Or up above or down below, depending on whether you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube.
Love it.
Yeah, I practice that a lot.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
I say it like every show.
Seasoned broadcaster.
Former disc jockey, just in the blood, I guess.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
So you're already funded.
Yeah, we funded. It was funny. You and I started chatting via Facebook chat, about, hey, when are we getting on, that whole thing. And I think when we started chatting, we were not funded. And then by the time you and I were done and kind of set on our plan, we had funded. So yeah, we funded this morning. We funded in about 28 hours. So we are now on to stretch goals, and we have some badass stretch goals. Actually, so the first stretch goal we hit at 7,000 when we funded. And so that means that if you pledge this campaign, you now get our bonus digital extravaganza, which will consist of about a dozen digital comics from some of my best friends in comics. So some of those names I rattled off before, the Avalonis, the Peposes, guys like that will be contributing issues. And so what I always try to do is when you back one of my campaigns, you usually get a taste of everything else I've done. So if you back the Peacekeepers, you immediately get digital copies of Aberrant issue 1, Banjax issue 1. You get a really meaty preview of the Jump #1, and you get Peacekeepers. So you're kind of getting 4 comics already for the price of 1 to start. And then now that we've hit our stretch goal and everyone gets this bonus digital extravaganza, we are starting from a point of, for 1 pledge, you are getting 16 comic books. And so, there's not really another deal like that out there. So if you're looking for some stuff to read, I think my comics are pretty good. My friends' comics are really damn good. So just come get a trough and kill a weekend.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are still stuck at home, depending on what part of the country they're living in. Yeah. And other people, nobody's really going out to concerts or big gatherings or anything. So, and I don't really go out at all. So I always need more stuff to read, because then I read it and then I jump on one of these and do a quick video review and toss it out there too. So
yeah, well, there's plenty to read here, so we got you covered.
Yeah, and I pretty much know just about everybody you rattled off. So I'm like, cool. I usually hang out with Christie's lunchtime thing. That way I know, it's lunchtime in California and it's almost dinner time for me.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, Christie's shows are great. She is a delightful personality, any number of ways. So. Mm.
So how is this different from the Jump, minus the story, the way it's set up? This is kind of like a 2-volume big giant thing. Is that why it's listed as 1 and 2? Yeah,
well, it is. It is. We are offering 1 and 2 together here. It's like I said. I mean, it really comes down to a programming issue. There are only so many Kickstarter slots every year. Like at most you can do 4 of these. Sometimes 3. It just depends on how it all kind of spaces out. And so I have a lot of material that I'm looking to get out there. And if I did this issue by issue, the Peacekeepers will be a 6-issue series. The first arc, the first season. And so it would take me, I am alternating the Jump and the Peacekeepers right now, and when I did the jump, I started doing that one issue at a time. But yeah, I mean, it would take me essentially, 2.5 years to get to get Peacekeepers out if I kept along like that. I want it out sooner. I want to be able to, after kind of we've satisfied the Kickstarter audience, I want to be able to go a traditional publishing route with it. And so sooner the better on that. And so that's part of it. The other part of it is, in every case when I'm on, sorry, my phone's blowing up a little bit, but in every case on with Kickstarter, I'm looking to offer value, right? I think that people have a lot of options out there. In fact, it was a big discussion I was having with other creators as we were kind of leading up to this launch. Is that there are more comic projects on Kickstarter than ever before right now.
Easily.
And that's I mean, it's proven numerically. And so that can be a good thing and a bad thing because, okay, these new projects bring their own kind of crop of backers that maybe wouldn't have been on Kickstarter otherwise. There's that. However, a lot of people think that there's basically a finite pie, right? And that whomever is on there is going to carve up that pie in a way. And so, how do you get your slice? And we are seeing a lot of kind of, I don't know how to say it, but there are kind of tiers of projects on Kickstarter. There are obviously the Scott Snyders who make $218,000. There are the Keanu's who make $1.5 million. They're the guys like me, who make significantly less than that. But then there are also these projects that are, they're looking to pick up $3,000 or something like that. And a lot of those projects are having a hard time getting noticed. A lot of the middle class projects like mine, even though I have a name and whatnot, to a degree, it's hard to stand out with a project like this even. And so you are looking in every way to give people, a reason to kind of take a look at this. And so if they're seeing a 26-page issue, if it's a damn good issue, then that's fine. But if you can give them 64 pages for the same price, it becomes an easy buy.
Oh yeah,
bang for their buck. So I'm always looking for bang for their buck, and we do that in every case. I mean, obviously, I've already outlined that you're basically getting 16. You're getting 16 issues instead of one issue. The other thing is we went all out on the printing of this thing. Now, you probably pledge a lot of Kickstarters. You know that the books you get back are of varying quality. A lot of people are trying to cut every corner, save every penny. And so you get these books and they kind of look like garbage, right? We went to Comic Impressions, which is a top-notch publisher down in Florida. They print all of Scout Comics books. So this is about as good as you can get. And we are doing it is a perfect bound book. It's not a traditional floppy with a staple. It is bound like a trade paperback is. It is going to be a hard stock cover, glossy interior pages, as sharp as you can get. So it's so this thing is you're used to going on and getting Pintos off of Kickstarter, and we are sending you a Cadillac. So you're going to open this thing. It's you're going to feel the difference immediately. This is a top-notch book. And then the other thing we try and do is a lot of people just kind of blow a book out there and try and sell a book, and we want to sell an experience. The beauty of Kickstarter again is that the fan base is so interactive and engaged, and so when we are planning the campaign, we look for any and every way to kind of involve the backer in the book and the process of the book. And so that, we do that any number of ways. We have a number of original art tiers that are great. You can get original art from the book, featuring characters from the book, hand-drawn, hand-inked things. But we have a lot of commission tiers. If you want something drawn, anything drawn, if you want fucking Darth Vader drawn, or if you want, if you want a pinup of your neighbor having sex with a goat, we can do that for you. our Ringo nominated art team will put that together for you. Anything goes. And when are you going to, when are you going to get that? You can't walk into a comic shop and be like, hey, I like the art in that comic book. Let me call the artists up and have them draw a picture of me like with a lightsaber, So that is pretty awesome. There are tiers where you can we will put you in the book. As a background character. There are higher tiers where you can become a supporting characters with lines in the book. You actually have a speaking role. You are a supporting character in the drama of the story. And it goes on and on. I mean, we have a tier, and two people have already taken us up on it, where we will write and draw and produce a original 5-page story starring you that takes place in the world of the Peacekeepers. And so those are always popular, and people always go crazy for those. We can put you on the cover of the book in a number of ways. We did this on the Jump, and when we were doing it on the Jump, we didn't quite have it figured out yet. So what happened was, we would put your face on one of our covers, your likeness. It was you sitting there on our cover, and we have some great variant covers that we can talk about in a bit. And we would send you kind of a digital file and a print and the whole 9 yards. But we have since figured out how to actually put you on a physical copy of the book. So you can order the Peacekeepers. We will put you on the cover of it and send you 2 copies of the book with you on it that you can do with as you please. Put it up on your wall. But again, how often do you get this opportunity? You cannot walk into a comic shop and be like, you know what, I kind of like that issue of whatever. How about you put my face on it and give it to me? So that's been great. Basically, we announced from the very beginning that this is an interactive experience, that we're open for business. And if there is something you think we're missing, if there is something you think will make the experience better that you want to see, hit us up on Kickstarter, let us know. And, if history is any indication, we will incorporate it in the campaign. So that was what, when we were doing the put me on a cover tier the last go around, we had a lot of takers, and people are like, this is great, but it would be awesome is if you could actually put us on a book, put us on a physical book. That would be incredible. And I went out and I did a lot of research, and I found a cost-effective way to do it. And I came back to all those people, and I'm like, hey, we can do it now. What do you think? And they're like, all in. And then we had people buying extra ones. And so it was cool,
Yeah, you can get your face on the cover, and then you can sign your own book.
You can sign your own book, exactly. That is a great point. We had people buying 2 or 3. There were people that wanted to be on all the covers last time. It was fun. So
wow.
And again, it's this whole thing is not just about publishing a book and getting it out there. Of course, that's what it is. But this whole thing, it's a month-long comic party. We're all getting together, and it's journalists like you and creators like me and fans and everyone in this little community we've all created together, this ecosystem, and we're just having a good time with this stuff. I mean, we're all stuck at home, and like you said, we need ways to kind of entertain ourselves, and we don't have cons, so how do we keep the party going? And this is the best way I know.
Yeah, online interaction with the fans, and I'm sure there's no shortage of suggestions on your Kickstarter page from many people. Can you do this? Can you do that? Will you be doing this?
Yeah, well, I appreciate every single one of them. I reply in person to each one, and so keep them coming, because they have historically made the campaign much better, much more interesting, much more fun. So that's what it's all about. So I'm not doesn't have to be my idea. I'm interested in good ideas in general. I'm interested in the best ideas. So whomever it comes from, be it me or an artist or somebody out there who's buying the book, they know what they want better than anybody. So if I can give it to them, I'll find a way. Oh
yeah, it's definitely as much as this year has been terrible, it's been great for creators like yourself, because It's like, oh, I'm stuck inside. Okay, back to the drawing board. And, you know, it's not like, you know, you're going to stop working and you can keep, you know, you can keep going. It's, you know, it's a year that creators can hone and polish their skills to, you know, really get to that next level.
Yeah, the time has been interesting. I mean, my time is it's not exactly been the case with me, because I have spent a lot of this time stuck you know, in my home with a 4-year-old, so that makes things complicated. You know, I also have a day job. I write movies and TV shows, and I have been very lucky in that I was commenced on kind of 2 paying writing gigs before this whole thing started. So I've stayed busy with that stuff. So I don't know that my availability, my bandwidth has changed too much amid all this stuff. But you're right in that for a lot of creators, for most creators, for a lot of my friends, this extra time has been a gift, you know? And so it's like, okay, well, I don't, you know, I'm not burning time on these other 3 or 4 or 5 things that I was burning it on before. So what am I going to do with this time? What are the 1, 2, 3, 4 things that I've always wanted to do, but didn't have the time, didn't have the, you know, the bandwidth to accomplish, to deal with. And, we're seeing those start to come out. So, and, you know, I've done it to a certain degree because, I mean, I started a podcast, amid all this craziness. You know, the joke is that, you know, I mean, the joke was always that everyone had a podcast anyway, but particularly amid all this stuff, everybody decided to fire one up. And I always told myself that I would never do it. You know, the one caveat was that if I saw something, here's the thing, is like, you look at comic book podcasts and, you know, there were the people like you that were already kind of established before all this shit hit the fan. And you guys had your, you know, you guys had your corner, and you're good at what you do. But all of these people who kind of rush to get their podcasts up amid this COVID stuff, about 95% of them are exactly the same, and it's hard to sort through. Give me 1 second, because my dog is like beating on the door. I'm going to let her in. Sorry about that. I know this is bad etiquette, but she's driving me nuts, and I'm having trouble concentrating. All right. Now she's going to go into the seat. So anyway, like, if I was going to get into this mix, if I was going to be the chode who fired up his podcast amid the pandemic, it was going to be because I saw something that wasn't available, that wasn't being done. And so, David Avalone and I, who I've mentioned, you know, a couple of minutes back, does Drawing Blood with Kevin Eastman and writes Elvira and everything. You know, he and I have been doing a lot of these online cons, and there are great online cons out there. I got involved with the people who do Mainframe Comic Con, and, you know, they put on 3 really amazing cons that actually help plan a little bit. And they've done a great job at kind of approximating a lot of the you know, that con experience, and I'm very thankful for that. But what we realized is that the thing that we really missed about the con experience as creators was what is called BarCon. It's what happens after the con. You spend an entire day on the con floor, right? And then when the day is over, all of us creators get together. We go, you know, to the bar across the street, and we kind of find a corner, and we hang out, and we all just kind of, you know, start rapping about the you know, the state of the industry, what happened that day, and eventually it kind of all degenerates into us kind of you know, arguing about Star Trek episodes and stuff like that, right? And it's an amazing thing. It's every creator's favorite part of these cons. And we were not getting that, and so we wanted to find a way to do that. And so we started this podcast. It's called The Writer's Block. It's available in a number of different places, but most notably on the Comic Core YouTube channel. That's where it drops first. And yeah, so it's Avalone and I, and, you know, some of our kind of closest friends in comics, just sitting around shooting the shit and you know, again, talking about the state of the comic business, arguing about Star Trek episodes, making fun of each other's mamas, that sort of thing. It's almost a, from a fan perspective, like, you don't get to see this stuff. It happens in secret. And so this is a way to kind of be a fly on the wall. And we've had some big guests. I mean, we had Kevin Eastman on a few weeks ago. We had, David F. Walker, who, does Bitterroot and just won an Eisner. Scout Comics co-publisher Charlie Stickney, Erica Schultz, who was nominated for 6 Ringos this go round. It's just a murderer's row every week. And so, great show, and it's been a lot of fun to do. And we were actually just asked to, we are doing the anchor leg of the Ringo Awards pre-show that is going to be airing live at the Baltimore Comic Con live website this weekend. Baltimore Comic Con is this weekend.
Okay.
Great lineup there. But we are doing the writer's block basically the hour before the Ringo Awards go live. Kevin Smith is hosting the Ringo Awards this go round, and so basically about 30 seconds before Kevin says hello and welcome to the Ringo Awards, Abalone and I will be signing off. And so we will have a couple of heavyweight guests on that show. Not at liberty to release those names just yet, because we're still kind of finalizing things, dotting T's and crossing I's and all that. But it's going to be a hell of a show, and so check that out at Baltimore Comic Con live this Saturday.
You're the opening band for the Ringo Awards.
The opening band, exactly.
Well, that should be fun, though. One, because you can't tell us who's going to be there besides you and David. It's the Ringo Awards, so we want to see you win your awards.
Yeah, well, we'll see. It is an uphill climb this year. Again, we were definitely the darling indie book that kind of snuck its way into a couple of these big categories. So don't, I never expect to win, but I didn't expect to win last year, and we walked away with one. So we'll see. But it's definitely a I know it's a cliche, but being nominated in that best series category particularly was just a massive deal. So. Oh
yeah. And you are right. This year it is like super stiff competition.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's the best of the best.
Well, yeah, it's that best series category is like basically best picture, and it's it's Us, it is Bitterroot, it is Something's Killing the Children, and Black Hammer maybe. So it's like again, it's like I don't know. It's a category that to a degree we have no business being nominated in, but we are nominated anyway, so we are here and we're not leaving. You're gonna have to drag us out.
Well, it'll be fun to see, and hopefully you guys walk away with at least one of them in the many different categories you got nominated in. So
yeah, we'll see. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, and more coffee.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
So you're alternating these and going quarter by quarter?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, we're going to see how it plays out. That is the plan now, and plans change. I think on the last Writer's Block podcast, Abalone shared a quote from The Way of the Gun. Something along the lines of, a plan is just a list of things that won't happen. And then I countered with I think one of my favorite all-time quotes from Mike Tyson: everybody has a plan until they get hit. And so plans change, but that's the plan right now, and we'll see. There are a number of things that could kind of intervene there. Particularly when you have these Ringo nominations, sometimes a publisher comes to you and says, "Hey, what do you got?" And you show them the 3 things that you got, and they're like, "I like this one." and you can't be like, oh, well, I was going to do 2 more Kickstarters. Life could intervene, but if that's the case, then I will, when the time to run a Kickstarter comes, I will have something else in that slot. So, I'm all in on Kickstarter. I think it's an amazing way to reach fans and to stay relevant, and I'm hooked on it. So as long as it's having a moment right now. And as long as that's the case, as long as things don't change violently over there, which, I think if this year has shown us anything, it's that can happen. Then I will, I will be a full-time Kickstarter personality if I can help it.
Well, it's not a bad way to go. There's plenty of people out there, and I think the indie industry is having a resurgence, the way it was back in the late 80s, early 90s. And we got some of the biggest names in comics out of those original indie creators. Mike Grell, Mike Mignola, on and on. And they're legends in the industry now. So.
Well, yeah, we talked about this on the Writer's Block also. I think what we're seeing is we're entering an age of creator empowerment. I compared it to, we've seen this in the NBA over the last 10 years, this era of player empowerment where players like LeBron James and Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard, they have kind of wrestled control away from the owners, and so they decide now where they play and who they play with and all of these things. And I think that's kind of happening in comics, again, creator empowerment. And we are entering an age now where you don't, when I started in comics, and it wasn't that long ago, 5 years ago or whatever, you kind of had to ask permission to make the comics that you wanted, to tell the story that you wanted to tell. And that's not the case anymore. If you look at David Pepos with the OZ, it was he had it, and I think he was testing the waters with some publishers, and he didn't like the feedback he was getting, right? I'm not sitting here dumping on publishers because it is a rough go for them right now. Audiences are fractured, and there's only so much room on comic shelves, and a lot of times, David Pepos and I are competing with, the Scott Snyders for shelf space and whatnot, and for space on the boom bench or whatever. And that's kind of not a choice for them. Right. So a few years ago, that would mean that we didn't make those books, that, maybe we moved on to something else, or we didn't make a book at all. And that doesn't have to be the case anymore. Sites like Kickstarter have shown us that there's a market for, as long as something is good, there's a market for it. And readers will show up. And, Pepos took a book that he wasn't confident at that time that he could set up. And then he, ended up with 1,200 backers on Kickstarter and $45,000, and that's incredible. And now, now I'm sure the publishers are camping out on his front lawn, but that said, I guess if you're Pepos, you're probably waiting because you want to run 3 more of these things before you hand it off. Right. Mm-hmm. And that's a wonderful thing. It's, you don't make a lot of money in comics, period, and so to be able to go and have a success like that is earth shattering. And it's why you're seeing, the Scott Snyders come to Kickstarter, is because they get a lot better deal. He can sell 200,000 issues of Batman, and I'm sure he makes a good living, but he can go to Kickstarter, and with a single black and white issue of something, $218,000. That's not a contest right there. And again, like, you're hitting a different audience, different exposure, and also it's like there are expectations of Scott in the comic world, right? And so there's certain stories that, you know, again, that he can't tell, and it's what I experienced with the Peacekeepers. You know, I mean, I've written in Hollywood for 15 plus years now, and I write mostly big action movies, and there are things that are expected of me in Hollywood, and so I couldn't for 15 years tell a story like the Peacekeepers. And to a certain degree, even a few years back, I couldn't tell it in comics, and, you know, at least not get it to an audience the way I wanted to. But now things are changing so rapidly that, you know, the opportunity is there. And, you know, it's just, this is no hyperbole when I say that this is my favorite thing that I've written, you know, and a lot of that is because I've been trying to write it for 15 years and haven't been able to, haven't been allowed to.
And now you got it, and it's out there, and people will be excited when they finally get it. One, they're going to get plenty of reading material, and they've got all those add-ons. Speaking of which, let's pop over and take a look-see. Here we go. So you've surpassed goal. You're up to 94 backers with 30 days to go.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
It's like, that's just amazing.
Yeah, I think we finished with 335 on the jump. So you know, we are on pace to surpass that. So hopefully that holds. And you know, if you're watching right now, hop on. I guess the you know, the one thing, if you're watching today, is that you can still make use of our early bird tiers. For the first 48 hours, you get a discount on the book, and it's not insignificant. So that will go until midnight tonight. So there is an incentive to back today if you're out there and you're kind of thinking about it, you're interested in it. Don't kick it down the road. You know, and also you can always adjust your tier right up until the end. So it's not a final decision. Just get your foot in the door and you get your discount. So
yeah, I mean, you've got a coupon right in front of you for until midnight tonight. So
yeah.
You know, I always tell this story because before you were on the last time, I had Graham Nolan on, and he had just put up his Kickstarter for the Chenoo, and somehow he changed this pledge without a reward $10 tier to he changed the wording. He was able to change the wording, and the pledge without a reward tier read as "buy Graham a beer."
Oh wow, that's actually a really good idea. I should see if I could change that. Yeah,
buy me a coffee. Buy me a beer.
Buy my 4-year-old shoes. I don't know, but yeah, it's funny. Yeah, so this is our regular cover. You know, kind of a graphic homage to an old Dirty Harry poster that I'm in love with. We're big on the homages. You know, nice dynamic cover. These are our bank robbers. Yeah, so this is our regular cover, and then we have three pretty cool variant covers that you know, they're going to be much lower. We can get to those in a minute, but really meaty preview on the page. You know, we have you kind of get to meet all of the characters. This is kind of a you know, it's a sprawling narrative, so there are any number of characters, and so you kind of get to meet, you know, our sort of groups of protagonists one by one. You get to meet the bank robbers, then you get to meet the cops that chase them, and then you get to meet there's a fun pro wrestling is not the way to say it. It's Bush League wrestlers. I think we all have these little federations, in our areas. These guys that get together and they set a ring up in a high school gymnasium or something like that. There's a group of these guys that play a key role in this kind of sprawling, crime drama. Here it is, right here, the NRWF. Little Rockers homage there if you're an 80s wrestling fan.
Oh yeah.
And then we get to meet kind of their quote unquote the girls next door that also play a key role and everything. Little fun introductions, but I think you get to read about 12 pages of the comic book, before you commit. So that is a significant preview. Usually you get about 5 or something like that. And then we get to the book, and as I said, this thing is it is a hefty, heavyweight, badass book. It's very much a Cadillac. There's our regular cover, and then here are the variants. If you know me, if you read Everett and Banjax, I'm big on the homages. So the first cover is an homage to Michael Mann's Heat. Kind of one of the classic bank robbery movies. So kind of some of the classic scenes and images from Heat with our characters kind of drawn in on top of that. And then we have a Fargo homage, a couple of great images from there. Of course, you can't do shipper scene. And Fargo is my favorite film of all time, so this was kind of a no-brainer, easy one for me. So we got that one, and then the final cover, which I think will be kind of the star of our put me on a cover tier, is the Point Break homage. Kind of have the ex-presidents getting ready to rumble here. Some great covers and some nods to movies that we all know and love. That'll be fun. And you can you can choose your cover, or you can buy them all at a discount. So a lot of people kind of hopping on and just gobbling them all up. So
kind of funny how Keanu's got a Kickstarter for a comic book, and he's also appearing on one of your variant covers.
Well, that's not Keanu. The guy, the guy does have. I mean, he is. That is the principal antagonist in our book, Denny. And I believe he is taking the place of Patrick Swayze there. He has the Reagan mask, but yeah, I mean, it's a little nod to Keanu. I mean, Keanu's been in so many great movies. It's hard to if you're in the movie homage game, it's hard to get around an homage to Keanu.
Yeah, I just watched a movie on Tubi that was his directorial debut.
Interesting. It was a martial arts movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny because I think he was supposed to. He was at one point very close to committing to a crime drama that I wrote, and then he had to jump off of it to direct that movie. So I have some hate in my heart for that movie, even though I'm glad that he got to make the movie he wanted to make. How was it?
I guess it was okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand it because it was all in Mandarin.
Okay, well, that's fair.
But, it's still an action movie. So, I mean, for the most part, you can figure out, who is who, what side they're on. And, there was no, I mean, it was no John Wick, but there was more than enough action. Hey, I know these books.
Oh yeah, yeah, they're not bad, huh? And like we said, I mean, everybody who backs gets a copy of Banjax #1 and Aberrant #1. So you kind of introduced to the whole catalog. So if you haven't read those books, then you will now. So everybody's getting 3 books for the price of 1 right off the bat. You also get a meaty preview at the Jump, so kind of get 4, 3.5, however you want to say it. You keep scrolling down. I make my scripts available for both issues, which is always an interesting study for all you process junkies. The publisher pitch document, which is always fun and interesting for people to look at, kind of how I would present this to a publisher. If you back the digital deluxe tiers, you get to see kind of how the book was put together. So all the artist layouts, the inks, the raw colors, and then of course you end up with the PDF at the end that's fully lettered and everything. So you just kind of get to see you can follow along with the script and watch how things are kind of built out. We have, in a number of different ways, we have my entire digital library available. You can, there was a tier with which you can purchase everything together, at a great price. And that's, the entire run of Aberrant, 10 issues, that's seasons 1 and 2, the entire run of Banjax, which is 4 issues, The Jump, of course, and then a book I did with Stephen Prince called Tales from the World of Monster Matador, which is pretty hilarious. But then all of those books are available individually as add-ons. So you pick your tier in terms of the Peacekeepers, and then you can go over and choose your add-ons. And if you want to add a single trade, I mean, you can get a physical copy of the trade signed by me, or you can get the digital version if that's how you like to read your comics. It's actually it is an interesting part of this campaign that I guess I haven't discussed, is that we don't have cons going. I mostly only do cons on the West Coast, so so if you are a fan out there and you dig, signed comics, there aren't a lot of ways to get my signature on something. This is the easiest way. Any number of tiers where I will sign every issue of the Peacekeepers, but every back issue you buy from me, every copy of Aberrant or Banjax or The Jump or whatever you buy will come signed, and that's trades, individual issues, and right now all of those are available as add-ons signed. And then, of course, as I said, I will, over the course of the campaign, be dropping some rare variants of those books and all that stuff. So stay tuned.
Yeah. Mr. Anti-East Coast over there.
No, I love the East Coast, man. Again, I just I love going to cons and I love traveling. It's just I have a 4-year-old and I love her a little bit more. So for me to be gone every weekend is just, it's prohibitive. So and it's not to say I still I will do I was doing about one East Coast con a year. I'd pick and choose, and of course, if you're nominated for a Ringo, you have to go to Baltimore and all that noise. That was what I did last year. But it's just I try to get to as many as possible, and I try to make myself available online. But yeah, I mean, until my daughter's kind of older and tired of me, I can't I can't leave.
It's coming up sooner than you think.
Yeah, no doubt. That's what everybody tells me.
Yeah.
I'm just enjoying these years before she becomes a teenager and hates me.
Oh,
yeah.
It starts before the teenage years.
Yeah.
My daughter's 12, going on 24. So,
God.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, whatever, Dad. Bye. Like, what do you mean bye? You just got here. Oh, I'm not. Yeah. I'm just going in my room, and then corner of the room, iPad. We'll come out around 9 o'clock to get something to eat and go back to our room.
Nice. Yeah.
I feel like a warden.
That's fair. You're getting into our original art tiers now, and so we have these kind of sketch card type things, which are really awesome. These are hand drawn, hand inked pieces of art from Davi Leon Diaz. And these are characters from The Jump. They're really good. They become really popular. They're kind of starting to fly off the shelves. So I'm going to have to limit them at some point. So if you want one, get in now. I don't think they're going to be around for long. And if you continue on down, here are the commissions I'm talking about. So this is art on. This was a San Diego Comic-Con Karate Kid exclusive where Davi drew the final fight from Karate Kid and kind of put our characters into it. And so this is the kind of thing that he can do. I mean, if you want to be in the Karate Kid fight, he can make this happen. He's very good at this stuff. And so scroll on down, So, we have our black and white tier if you just want a black and white commission. But if you scroll down, we can do a full color thing also. That's gorgeous. So Juan can come and do colors up the top of it.
Amazing.
Yeah, and again, this was an SDC exclusive variant that there may be 50 copies of that was only available there for a couple of days, and we will at some point make these available on the as an add-on during the campaign. So look out for that. I'll probably be dropping that in a couple of weeks or something like that, just to kind of spice the campaign up midstream. But
So
yeah,
come today for the coupon and keep coming back for all the little tidbits that are going to be added on from now until the end.
Yeah, you can always update your pledge. So that's what I always tell people. And so this is the put me on a cover tier I was talking about. Just kind of you want to be sitting on that pool table. You want to be feeding a guy into a wood chipper. We can oblige. If you want to be robbing an armored car, we'll make it happen. We did it very successfully on the jump. Looking forward to doing it again. And then if you scroll on down, we have our kind of draw me in tiers. Put you in the background of a scene, just kind of a cameo, or we'll actually give you a speaking role, give you lines, supporting character, and then there's that original story. We do a 5-page story starring you. Takes place in the world of the book. I don't know what kind of criminal hijinks you'll be up to. We can talk about it, maybe take your input on it. But that's been popular. We've sold 2 of those already. I might have to limit those too. So if you want one, come get one, because I don't know how much time we're going to have to do these. Those take time and effort. The other thing, we have one-on-one Skype sessions with me. These became popular. I first made these available when Creators for Comics was doing their fundraiser via Twitter. Mm-hmm. I think I raised about $800 making these available for Creators for Comics, and it's just you set the agenda. I mean, I've worked in Hollywood for 15 years. I am a 7-time Ringo-award nominated comics writer. And so if you want to talk about breaking into the comics business, getting your first book published, you want to talk about breaking into the film business, screenwriting, whatever you want to pick my brain about, I am available. So a little consultation session, those are available. So come check in on those. What else do we have here? Oh yeah. The producer tiers are always popular too. So my business for the last 8 years has been setting up my IP, my intellectual property, my short stories, my fiction, my comic books as film and television projects. And when it started out, putting a book together costs a lot of money. And it can cost $15,000 to $20,000 to put 4 issues, in a trade together. And I don't, I don't know about you, but I can't just make that appear. I don't have a money tree out back. So, my first couple of books, I treated them like films. I had investors on them, and folks invested in the property, and they kind of then became a producer on the property. And, with Aberrant, 2 weeks before issue 2 hit comic shops, we had it optioned as a TV series. Tony Krantz, the producer of 24 and Felicity, he produced Mulholland Drive for David Lynch, and he's doing Woo Assassins for Netflix right now. We're developing that with him as a TV series. And so there were producers on that helped fund the book that are now producers on the TV series. And so we had a producer tier on the Jump that some people took us up on, and they got I have a copy of the Jump laying around right here. But if you look inside the Jump, you get a credit as a producer right next to the creators. So it says writer Rylend Grant, artist, colorist, letterer, and then it says producer, your name. And you are a producer on the book, and then if it gets turned into a TV series, a movie, then you are a producer on the TV series and the movie also. And the Jump, we just did the Kickstarter producer tiers with the Jump, and I spent the entire week this week in meetings with William Morrison Dever, which is, along with CAA, the two biggest agencies in Hollywood in the world. And they are representing the property in Hollywood, and they are taking it out to big time producers right now. And so that is being full force shopped as as a movie, as a TV series property right now. And it's not going to surprise me if in the next couple of months we see an announcement on that or something. So so it's a good opportunity if you're looking to be more involved, you're looking to kick your way into Hollywood, that sort of thing. There are opportunities here to kind of come on and be involved in this project moving forward. So
yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if it got picked up either. Not just because of having read it already, but is there anything in movies or TV that is not a comic book these days?
No, I mean it's certainly Hollywood is very interested in them right now. It's a great time to be a comic creator, and I am in a position because my day job is writing film and television. My entire business these past 8 years has been setting up short stories and fiction and comic books as movies and TV shows. So and my properties have attracted people like Justin Lin and F. Gary Gray and JJ Abrams and most recently Daveed Diggs and Robert De Niro and so it happens. And I would go so far as to say that The Jump is the most commercially viable thing I've ever created. So that's definitely going to happen. And The Peacekeepers is I think it's going to make a damn good TV series. So get in now while you can.
Oh, most definitely. It's almost like you have your foot in the door.
Yeah, I mean, I got my foot in the door about 15 years ago. Now I'm camped out in the lobby. But yeah, I guess we have a really great, really generous retail tier. We had 4 or 5 takers the last go around, and the comic book shops were really happy with what they got. You get I think it costs about $100. You get 10 issues of the Peacekeepers, 10 double issues of the Peacekeepers for that. And then I throw in a bunch of extras. Those rare variants we were talking about, you get some of those. You get signed copies of Aberrant #1 and Banjax #1. Really just try to bring value to the retailers because they are what keeps this business afloat and alive. They are our best friends, and so try to treat them right. So.
Yeah, and it's been a pretty lousy year for comic book shops. So
yeah, and so I'm trying to throw them every bone I can with these things. And like I said, the retailers last go around were really impressed and really excited with what they got. So we will do you right. And if you have questions about it and you're a retailer, just message us via Kickstarter, and I will download you on everything we have planned. And so yeah, and then and then we have the add-ons like I was talking about. We are testing the Kickstarter add-on beta. So after you pick your tier, you will be able to choose from a variety of add-ons, and we have both digital and physical copies of everything I've done: Aberrant, Banjax, The Jump, Tales from the World of Monster Matador, signed copies of everything. It is a way to catch up on the Rylend Grant library, and then tons of rare variants coming right now. The Weekend at Bernie's variant is up there, and more to come. Lots of stretch goals planned. We already crossed the $7,000 threshold. So like I said, you're going to get about a dozen digital comics from, my best friends in comics, some of the hottest creators out there. I'm still kind of putting that together, so I don't know what the titles are, but you're going to be impressed. I believe at around $10,000, everybody gets an exclusive print that is really badass. I'm really happy with it. I'm really impressed. It's done. And as we get closer to $10,000, I will reveal that. And then we'll have all sorts of things down the line. There'll be surprises. I think when we hit 13 on The Jump, we did something really cool where we partnered with Pop Cult HQ, and we gave away 10 signed graphic novels. Again, from some of the kind of hottest creators in comics, and they were just really good, really great books. and really nice books also. So 10 lucky backers just got an extra signed graphic novel mailed to them, and everybody was over the moon about that stuff. So again, we go out of our way to find creative ways to kind of surprise you and impress you with this stuff, and so help us push this giant rock up the hill, and we're going to give you some badass stuff.
Yeah, I think the mystery book or art or whatever creators do at at random from hitting a goal is awesome. I like that idea better than all the goodie bags that you get from some guitar picks, coins, poker chips, mini prints, bookmarks.
Yeah, bookmarks.
I appreciate the bookmarks because I have lots of books that I don't get through all in one sitting. So
yeah. I mean, it comes from experience. I mean, some people really dig that stuff, and some people love to collect it. Some people like to put it in the bag with the comic, and I get that. For me, all that stuff goes in the garbage. It just kind of takes up space, and that's not a knock against that creator or that book or the art on it or anything like that. It's just, I mean, you know how it is. Like I back a lot of Kickstarters, right? And so to have this just stack of stuff, and so I prefer to give people stuff that give them something else to read, give them a really rather than give them 5 pieces of junk, give them one really nice print that they can get excited about or something like that. That's where I'm at with it. So, but that's just me. And of course, if you feel differently, hit me up on Kickstarter and tell me I'm wrong. And maybe you can convince me and I'll add fucking bookmarks or something.
And here's the article where Tony Krantz will develop Aberrant comic book for TV.
Yeah, that was a Collider exclusive a few years back. So full steam ahead. But and then we just kind of highlight, at the end of the campaign, some of the other books that we've done and some of the accolades we've received. This is just it's a really good team of creators that put this one together. It's going to be a high quality book and a high quality experience, and so yeah, come join us. Come to the comic party.
Oh yeah, and speaking of parties, this cover.
Oh yeah, that is that was another San Diego Comic Con exclusive. That's our Gremlins cover, which is maybe the most popular variant we've ever done. That's Layered Mason or AKA Banjax drinking in Dory's Tavern as the Gremlins tear it apart, and you have plenty of specific moments, kind of homages taken from the movie. But yeah, that's maybe been our most popular cover, and so at some point I will make a probably very limited number of copies of this variant available as an add-on. So look out for those. I'm sure they'll go quickly. So hop on.
The Jump. This was so good.
Thanks, man.
I was like, the way I was reading it, it made me feel like I was like easing my toes into the water to see if it was too hot or too cold.
Yeah.
As I was reading, and then, something would happen and you'd be like, oh, well, that's interesting.
Mm.
And then something else would happen. You're like, that seems odd. And then the end of that issue. Oi.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a punch in the face, huh?
Yeah, it's a punch somewhere.
Yeah. A couple of really good punches in the face, punches in the nuts, punches wherever it hurts for you in the Peacekeepers. Again, it's a double issue, so I think you probably get 3 or 4 really good gut punches in this thing. Surprises, twists, turns. It is a hell of a ride. It starts out slow burn, but then and then it gets cooking, and then then you're just kind of getting in both barrels.
Yeah.
If I can mix my metaphors.
And you're not just a creator; you're like a huge fan. You've backed like 79 Kickstarters.
Yeah, I back a lot of them, and in fact, I think I have another account where I've that doesn't have my name on it. I started out just with a username and back some other ones. So I'm all over. I mean, I think that some of the best stuff right now is being done on Kickstarter. I'm really excited about it. So I back as many as I can and as many as my my wallet tolerates. So.
We have that, and I just want to run through all the pledges. Of course, you can just support the campaign with a $10 reward. You can pledge $5 or more, which is the do us a solid, and you'll get a PDF of the Ringo-nominated Banjax 1, PDF of the Ringo-nominated award-winning Aberrant #1, PDF preview of the Jump #1, and a thank you in the credits. And keep in mind, you can jump back in and add stuff on anytime until the end of the campaign. Digital Deluxe Peacekeepers, PDF and more. We'll get you the PDF of Peacekeepers, 1 and 2 Kickstarter edition, PDF of the scripts, publisher pitch document, PDF of the Ringo-nominated Banjax, PDF of the award-winning Aberrant, PDF of the Jump #1, and as always, a thank you in the credits. $15 or more, Digital Deluxe Artist Edition. So that's where you get the pencils, the inks, and the colors, so you can see the process throughout the book, as well as the script for it. I like that idea.
Yeah.
That's it gets you it lets you feel more involved, even though you're not more involved because you had nothing to do with it, but you get to see the process more.
Well, it ends up being a masterclass. I mean, for me, how I learned to do this thing was I would buy every once in a while you trip over a script book. I think Bendis released one for that first Powers arc, and that was big, and a couple others that I got a hold of. But being able to see how somebody kind of broke things down and laid it out, and then how that translated to art was a big deal for me. It was how I learned to do this. And so, I'm a huge process geek. And then the idea of then being able to see how it goes from layout to pencil to ink to color to lettering is, I mean, it would have blown my mind back then. You couldn't find that. And so I thought it was such a cool idea that, again, and I could just have a tier where I'm only offering the digital version of the book, but what is that? It's not fun. You know what I'm saying? And so I want extra content and I want a lot of meat on the bones here. So I thought it was cool. I think it's a great way to do it. And, the amazing thing is, a lot of people have kind of copied me on that tier since. So I think that's a compliment.
Yeah, and we got the early bird, the book regular edition. So you get the print copy of Peacekeepers 1 and 2, Kickstarter edition. You get the PDF of that. You also get the scripts, the digital files, pencils, inks, and colors, the publisher pitch document, and PDFs of Banjax, Aberrant, and the Jump. And that's good until midnight tonight. That's a lot for $18.
It's a lot for $18. Yeah, I mean, just getting that double issue is pretty intense.
Yeah. And this is the regular edition, physical copy of the book, PDF of the book, and everything else listed above. This is where you'd have to go to get it after the early bird's off.
Yes.
And then we have the early bird variant edition. Where you get your choice of the variant cover, plus the PDFs, the breakdowns, the scripts.
It's what you'll find is that, you know, as we kind of go up, most tiers kind of include the tiers that came before it, you know, so it kind of it's just kind of good Kickstarter etiquette that it all kind of builds on itself, right? So
yeah, it's like it's a domino effect, basically.
Yeah, and so when you book a digital tier, you then get the PDF, you get all the supporting materials, the pitch doc, the script, and then it just becomes kind of about picking your physical reward. You know, do you want the regular cover? Do you want the variant cover? Your choice of variant cover. Do you want all 4 covers? And then once you get above the all 4 covers tier, every tier includes all 4 covers. So if you get an original sketch card, you get all 4 covers and all the digital stuff. If you order a commission, if you order a put me on a cover, if you are into the producing tier, then you're getting all 4 covers. You're getting all the digital stuff. And so yeah, it just kind of builds on itself there. So tons of bang for your buck on all these things. You know, so if you're spending $100 on to get one of those sketch card tiers, you're also getting four double-sized books, all of that digital content. You know, everyone's getting the 12 issues from the digital extravaganza at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So you will walk away with a trough full of comic goodness here. In any case,
a plethora of books.
Yes, a virtual cornucopia.
Oh yeah. I mean, even prior to that, you can get all 4 covers for $60, but you know you want that art.
Yeah.
And you want stuff signed.
Yeah, and that's what happens too, is that after every premium tier, everything comes signed also. So everything above that $65 tier is just signed right off the bat. So no more messing around with that.
In the print stockpile.
Yeah, the print stockpile is something that I didn't talk about. I actually forgot because I added that late in the game, and I added that because Pepos kind of had some success with it. But yeah, you can. There is a tier, a tier or 2. So the print stockpile, you get a copy of the Peacekeepers, of course, and you basically get your choice of cover. So whether you want the regular or the variant, it's up to you. But then you also get a physical copy of everything that I've done. So you get a trade paperback of Anjax, trade paperbacks of Aberrant seasons 1, seasons 2. You get a physical copy of Tales from the World of Monster Matter. You get a physical copy of The Jump. You get all that digital content. So yeah, talk about having we send you a suitcase of physical books. That's a good tier.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big box.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of stuff to pick through, and they're all, you know, priced to be of value to the fans. So that's something we always like to see.
Yeah, totally.
And you've got more books to add on, you know, variant wise, to sweeten the pot over the time of the campaign as well.
Yeah, you know, basically every rare exclusive variant that we've done, I will try to make available to some degree over the course of the campaign. So it'll be a nice thing. Maybe maybe once a week or so, I'll announce something, and maybe a couple of times a week, because I guess we only have about 4 weeks. But yeah, just try to keep it fun, keep it have a surprise around every corner. So
as always, the book looks amazing, and a lot of other people think so as well already. So I don't really foreshadow this really slowing down until the campaign ends, really.
Yeah, let's hope not. Yeah, your mouth to Jobu's ears.
Yeah, really. Buy this book, quick. Early bird campaign. The like I said, the link for the Kickstarter is right in the chat. It's also in the show notes, either up above or down below, depending on where you're watching us. Once again, we want to thank Rylend for joining us to talk about his new Kickstarter, Peacekeepers 1 and 2. It's a phone book of a comic.
Nice. Well done.
It's just, and it'll be ideal for home defense as well.
Nice. Use it as a bulletproof vest.
Yeah. Well, aim it just right.
Yeah.
But definitely go check it out. We want to thank you once again for joining us to talk about the new campaign. And we wish you the best. And hopefully we will see you in the pre-show for the Ringo-Awards this weekend.
Yeah, soon enough, man. A couple of days away. Thanks for having me. It was a blast.
Thank you.